Hey, Ethan here, and in this episode we'll be taking a relook at Batman Arkham Asylum, but for the PC this time. It's now time for some brief development history. Batman Arkham Asylum was developed by a small, unknown British developer named Rocksteady Studios, and made one game before Batman Arkham Asylum called Urban Chaos Riot Response for the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox, which was a first-person shooter counter-terrorist type game. Arkham Asylum started development in early 2007. Rocksteady showed publisher Eidos Interactive their prototype and were given the go to continue. Rocksteady had about 40 people working on it at the beginning, but then had over 60 by the end. One developer worked on just Batman's cape for over a year. They also had voice actors of Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill come back to reprise their roles as Batman and the Joker from Batman the Animated Series, which the game's writer Paul Dini, best known for his work on writing some of the best episodes of BTAS, wrote the game's story, and also takes inspiration from Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum, a Serious House on Serious Earth comic book. Batman Arkham Asylum was revealed in August of 2008, and then launched on August 25, 2009 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and then a PC and Mac version later on. They also released the Collector's Edition, which contains a battering statue, 48-page diary of Arkham inmates, and a DVD of behind-the-scenes content, which is included in the Game of the Year edition on PS3. The Game of the Year edition includes all DLC on disc for Xbox 360, but has you download a special Game of the Year edition of the Play as Joker and Pray in the Darkness DLC on PS3. More on that later. This time we'll be mainly playing the PC version without Nvidia PhysX enabled, but also keep in mind that some of the PC footage can look very choppy towards the end of the game. Let's now start Batman Arkham Asylum. The story goes is that Batman has sent the Joker back to Arkham Asylum. The Joker then escapes, killing everyone in his way. Batman contacts Oracle and takes down Zsasz. He runs into Harley Quinn and eventually meets up with the Joker and takes down this mutantly enhanced thug. He later learns that Commissioner Gordon has been kidnapped and assaulted by a guard named Frank Bowles. A little while later, Batman finds out that Bowles has been killed. The Riddler then hacks into his comms, but eventually reaches the surface and finds out that the Batmobile is being destroyed by Joker's goons. Near the Batmobile, Batman finds a flask that belongs to Commissioner Gordon and follows the trail to the medical building. While in the medical building, he finds out that doctors have been held hostage by Joker's goons. Batman then learns that 3 other doctors escaped. After finding the doctors, Batman goes into an elevator and gets gassed by Scarecrow's fear toxin, which causes him to see a dead Commissioner Gordon and his dead parents. He is then forced to go through an imaginary obstacle course by Scarecrow without getting caught by his gaze. Later on, Batman realizes that the dead Commissioner Gordon was just a dead guard, and proceeds to rescue the real Commissioner Gordon. They then find out that Bane has been experimented on. He then gets released by Joker and is taken down by having his pipes be destroyed 3 times by Batman. Afterwards, Bane gets hit by the Batmobile and is pushed into the water. Commissioner Gordon is then sent off Arkham Island by a boat. Batman then contacts Oracle and heads towards his secret Batcave and learns that one doctor, Dr. Young, has created a special version of the Venom formula called Titan. Later on, Batman enters the Arkham Mansion and finds Dr. Young's office, but discovers her notes have been taken. He later finds the notes and destroys them. After that, Batman gets gassed by Scarecrow once again and is forced to relive his parents' murder. He then goes through a slightly different variation of the Scarecrow encounter. After that, Zsasz has taken Dr. Young hostage. Batman then takes down Zsasz again, and Dr. Young is then killed by a safe explosion rigged by the Joker. Later on, Batman enters the penitentiary and discovers the lunatics and Poison Ivy. He then saves Warden Sharp and takes down and interrogates Harley Quinn, and is then informed by Oracle to head towards the Botanical Gardens. While in the Botanical Gardens, Batman catches up with the Joker inside a secret lab and destroys the extra Titan containers after taking down 2 Titan henchmen. He then visits Poison Ivy and forces her to help him create an antidote. In response, she says he needs to go into Killer Croc's lair to get certain plant spores. Batman then goes back to the Arkham Mansion and talks to Aaron Cash about Croc's location. Batman then goes back to intensive treatment. The game then tricks the player into thinking their game has crashed and has sent the player back to the beginning of the game, but it's a twist with the Scarecrow's face showing up as the bat signal and you playing as the Joker, bringing in Batman into the asylum. The Joker then shoots Batman and wakes up from a grave in another one of the Scarecrow encounters. He then goes through it just like the others, but is then forced to have a secondary combat encounter. Batman then follows Scarecrow down into the sewers until they reach Croc's lair, with the Scarecrow threatening to throw his fear toxin into the water, but then Croc shows up and grabs Scarecrow and jumps back into the water. Batman then follows Croc, setting up a beacon to not get lost, but are now thrown into probably the most scariest part of the game, with Batman having to walk very slowly and gather as many plant spores and try to avoid Croc, but once he has gathered enough spores, he escapes just in time, with Croc falling into the hole below. Back at the Batcave, Batman creates the antidote needed to stop Ivy. Ivy's plants then attack the Batcave, but Batman survives. Batman then destroys 3 water pumps and takes out a Titan henchman on his way back up to the surface, which he then goes to fight Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy goes into this really big plan and has us stop it by dodging projectiles, taking out guards, throwing a batarang, and using explosive gel on it twice. Ivy is then defeated and Batman gets out of there, reaching the visitor center, with the Joker revealing he had a TV on his head, but then explodes the entrance. Batman then proceeds and takes down 2 other Titan henchmen, but then the Joker reveals that he has captured Commissioner Gordon and then shoots him with Titan, which Batman then takes the shot instead of Gordon. With Batman resisting the change, the Joker shoots himself with Titan. The media then arrive with Batman battling a Titan-enhanced Joker, with Batman punching enemies and using the Ultra Batclaw to pull Joker down 3 times. Batman then sprays explosive gel on his fist, then punches Joker, giving him the final blow. It then shows Gordon and the other Arkham staff getting the facility back under control. Then Batman leaves in the Batwing, responding to a bank robbery by Two-Face, then the credits roll. It then shows a randomized version of this crate cutscene. I got Killer Croc, but there's also a Bane and Scarecrow variant. Post-game, there's not a lot to do besides collecting all the spirits of Arkham, which are plaques that you scan and get little stories from Amadeus Arkham, but at the end of collecting them, it is revealed to the player that is actually Warden Quincy Sharp. You also go around collecting all 240 Riddler trophies, and once you do that, you get this.
What? You did it? You must have cheated. There is no way you could have beaten me. Well, you asked for it, Batman. My final challenge for the whole of Gotham is just seconds away. What? Silence. The police. You cheated, Batman. You couldn't have outsmarted me. Police, open up! No. I said open the door, now! Now! Down on the ground! Down on the ground! No! Tell me, how did you work out where I was? Do you hear me? I, Edward Nigma,
And that is Batman Arkham Asylum's story. It's now time for me to talk about everything else. Let's start with gameplay. Batman Arkham Asylum is played from a third-person perspective. It uses the free-flow combat system, which the Arkham series pioneered. It basically has you strike enemies while doing other various takedowns, like the ground takedowns, counters, and stuns, which leads to a higher combo. It also has Predator sections. Predator is the name for more stealth-like sections, which has Batman sneak up behind enemies and do other various takedowns, like the ledge takedowns and inverted takedowns. There's also Detective Vision or Detective Mode, which allows Batman to see enemies through walls, detect if they are armed with guns, and also detect various particles and fingerprints throughout the game. Batman also uses many gadgets such as the grapple gun to get to higher or out of reach areas of the map, and the Batclaw to grab things and enemies, and there's an Ultra Batclaw variant. He also has his iconic Batarang to stun enemies, and there's a multi, remote control, and sonic Batarang variant. There's also the Explosive Gel, which can explode walls or other objects, the Line Launcher, which can help Batman get over big gaps, and the Cryptographic Sequencer, which can hack terminals and destroy bombs. Batman can also glide around the map. There are a few different enemy types. Normal Blackgate prisoners, which can also grab guns and stun batons and other various objects, and special ones with knives. There's also the Arkham Lunatics, which jump on you and can be taken down by a simple ground takedown. Also, if you die, you get a game over screen, with the villain you're fighting at that point in the game on a black screen and restarts you from your previous checkpoint. It's like this in every Arkham game except Blackgate. Wayne Tack is the game's upgrade system. By getting XP by going through and completing fights, you can unlock more health upgrades, takedowns, and other gadgets. Back at the main menu, we have Challenge Mode. You play as Batman or Armored Batman, which is unlocked after beating the game once on any difficulty, or the Joker if you're on PS3. Challenge Mode allows you to play combat maps to try to get 3 bats or the highest score possible. There's the Predator maps, which have you complete certain objectives as fast as you can. Downloadable or extra content is where you access all the DLC challenge maps, which consists of the Insane Night Pack, Crime Alley challenge map, Dem Bones challenge map, and the PS3 exclusive Brain in the Darkness and Play as the Joker DLC. There's also character bios, which gives you backstory on various characters, with also interview tapes found throughout the map, which the map consists of Arkham East, containing the Arkham Mansion and Botanical Gardens, Arkham North, containing the Intensive Treatment Building from the beginning of the game, and Arkham West, containing the Medical Building, Penitentiary, and Visitor Center from the end of the game. You can go to the Visitor Center after you reach the surface at the beginning to have Joker lecture you about various topics by coming back every so often. There's also the sewers and the Batcave. There's also character trophies, which are unlocked by completing Riddler trophies and are high quality 3D models of most of the characters and objects seen in the game. There's also some extras, such as Luke Oliver in the Penitentiary, which won as a result of a contest held by GameStop to get your likeness into the game. When you're inside the medical building, you can hear the announcer talk about a website called ArkhamCare.com, which was an actual website at one time, but it's been luckily archived. It's a promotional site hosting videos of inmates and other little things, and can be seen on the back of Arkham Asylum's cage. There is also the Warden's Secret Room, which cannot be seen by detective mode and can only be accessed by spraying 3 explosive gels right next to each other. It reveals blueprints detailing what would become Arkham City, this game's sequel. It was so well hidden that Rocksteady themselves revealed it several months after the game's release. Graphically overall, it looks pretty good still. It uses Unreal Engine 3 and gives a comic book and realistic mix. The console versions run at 30 FPS at 720p. The PS3 has the option to use motion controls while gliding. The PC version can run at 60 FPS and also has support for NVIDIA PhysX effects, which makes certain smaller objects and smoke more interactive. It also has Xbox controller support.
And that is Batman Arkham Asylum, the game that made superhero games as good as they are today. But I really don't like those lunatics.